Hey everybody. Today you're going to solve word problems that use similar triangles. So let's start by reviewing what the similar triangle shortcuts are. So instead of having to show that every pair of corresponding sides is proportional and every pair of corresponding angles is congruent, we learned yesterday that if two pairs of corresponding angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. We learned that if two pairs of sides are proportional and the included angle is congruent, then the triangles are forced to be similar. And then side, if all three sides are proportional, then the angles wind up being congruent. So then the triangles are similar. The one that we use the most is AA. So let's look at some examples. If we were at school, we would actually get to do this outside. So one way you can find the height of an object that's really tall that you wouldn't be able to otherwise is to place a mirror somewhere on the ground. You measure the distance between the mirror and the object. Then you walk backwards until you see the top of the object in the mirror. Then you're able to measure your distance to the mirror. And then you know your height to your eyes. So let's make up a problem and then we'll solve it. So let's say you place the mirror 5 feet from the flagpole. Then you walk back until you see the top of the flagpole, and it turns out that it is 2 feet away that you have to stand. And then let's assume you are 5.5 feet tall to your eyes. So what would be the height of the flagpole? All right. So we don't know these angles, but that's okay. Since it's a mirror, these angles are congruent. And then we say this is a 90-degree angle. So since you have two pairs of angles that are congruent, that's angle-angle similarity. That makes the triangle similar. Triangle, in this case, EPX, is similar to triangle FBX by angle-angle. Therefore, you can set up a proportion. That's what gives you the right to set up the proportion. So we would say, and you could set this up a bunch of different ways, but we could say 2 corresponds to the 5, and then 5.5 corresponds to X. Right, there's a couple ways you could set that up and it would work. So then cross multiplying, so 5 times 5.5 is 27.5 equals 2x. Oh, this is a short flagpole, but you get the idea. Divide by 2, x equals 13.75 feet. Okay? But it's just a way for you to find the height of an object that would be difficult to measure. We would have done this at school if we were there. Next. A person 5 feet 3 inches tall casts a 6-foot shadow. At the same time of the day, a lamppost casts an 18-foot shadow. What is the height of the lamppost? So this is another way you could find the height of an object. That would be hard to measure. So you're standing at a 90-degree angle. The lamppost is 90 degrees. Then the angle that the sun is shining is the same because it's the same time of the day. So this gives you angle-angle similarity. That gives you the right to set up proportions. So then, let's say 6 corresponds to the 18, 5.25 corresponds to the X. Cross multiply. So 18 times 5.25 is 94.5 equals 6x divided by 6, 15.75 feet tall. So there it is. So this worksheet is in today's lesson on Google Classroom. You will actually submit some of these answers that we're going over through Edulastic, and then you will finish this worksheet. So we're going to do the front together, the back you will finish, and you will type all the answers into Edulastic. So take notes here. And I would suggest you pause at each one, try it, and check your answer. That's the best way to see if you understand. So if a tree casts a 24-foot shadow at the same time a yardstick casts a 2-foot shadow, find the height of the tree. So that gives you, let's see, 2 goes to 24, 3 goes to x, right? And it's angle, angle. So you should always think about that. Because on the test, I might ask you to explain the similarity shortcut. So this is angle, angle. So let's see, 2x cross multiplying equals 24 times 3. So we have 24 times 3 divided by 2, 36. 72 divided by 2, 36 feet. So you'll type 36 into Edulastic. Number 2, a bush is sighted on the other side of a canyon. Find the width of the canyon. So here, the picture should have shown 90-degree angles. And then these are vertical angles. So that's angle, angle. So find the width of the canyon. So let's see, the x goes to the 7.5, the 100 goes to the 10. Then we cross multiply, 10x equals 750. Divided by 10, x equals 75 feet. All right, number 3, a 12-centimeter rod is held between a flashlight and a wall as shown. Find the length of the shadow on the wall if the rod is 45 centimeters from the wall and 15 centimeters from the light. So we label the picture. And here you can think of the similar triangles as these right triangles. So angle, angle, make similar triangles. And let's set up the proportions. And we're trying to find the length of the shadow. So we're trying to find this. Okay, so let's set up the right triangles. So 15, now does the 15 correspond to the 45? The answer is no, because the 15 will correspond to this whole side of the triangle. You're comparing sides of triangles. So 15 goes to 15 plus 45, which is 60. And then this will be 6 because it's an isosceles triangle. So 6 will then correspond to x, and then you're going to multiply the x by 2. And so cross multiply. So 60 times 6 is 360 equals 15x divided by 15. 360 divided by 15 is 24. But we want the whole shadow, so you multiply that by 2 to get 48 centimeters. Technically, you could have also said 15 over 60 equals 12 over x and compared the whole side that way. So you get 48 centimeters. The next one, The cheerleaders at City High make their own megaphones by cutting off the small end of a cone made from heavy paper. If the small end of the megaphone is to have a radius of 2.5 centimeters, what should be the height of the cone that is cut off? This one we're going to round to the 100th. Actually, for all of these in the homework, you're going to round to the 100th. So 2 decimal places. Unless the answer is only 1 decimal place, then just leave it as 1 decimal place. Okay, so this cone actually makes similar triangles. So based on this, we're going to be comparing these overlapping triangles. This is angle, angle, because you have the overlapping angle and the right angle. So that gives us the right to set up the proportion. So the 2.5 centimeters corresponds to half of the diameter of the base there, so 28, equals, and now we want to know what should be the height of the cone that is cut off. So this x over 60. Then we cross multiply. So you get 28x equals 2.5 times 60, 150, divided by 28, 5.36 when you round to the 100th centimeters. Oh, I love this one. So find the width of the Brady River. You have right angles, and you have this overlapping angle, reflexive angle. So angle, angle, similarity lets us set up a proportion. We're going to call this x. So now we could say 15 corresponds to the 8 as, okay, so now be careful. The 28 is not the whole side of that triangle. It's 28 plus 7 plus 8 plus x, right? And now the shorter part is 7 plus 8 plus x. So now you have 15 over 8 equals 43 plus x over 15 plus x. Go ahead and cross multiply. Distributive property. Okay. So now 225 plus 15x equals, so now we have 8 times 43, 344 plus 8x. Get the x's to one side, minus 8x to each side. 225 plus 7x equals 344. Minus 225 divided by 7. X equals 17 meters. So 17 meters. Good problem. And now the last one that we're going to do together, so you'll finish the rest after this, on Edulastic, and that will get you credit. So the foot of a ladder, now this one I didn't like the wording, that's why we're going to do it together. The foot of a ladder is 1.2 meters from a fence that is 1.8 meters high. The ladder touches the fence. So this is where the wording's a little weird. It leans on the top of the fence against a building that is 1.8 meters behind the fence. Draw a diagram and determine the height on the building reached by the top of the ladder. Go ahead, do that. Pause the video, give this one a try. Okay, so why are the triangles similar? Angle, angle. So all these have been angle, angle. So here's the x. So now let's see. X corresponds to the 1.8. Now be careful. The 1.2 is going to end up corresponding to this whole side, 3.0. Because that's the side of the triangle. So now 1.2x equals 1.8 times 3, 5.4, divided by 1.2 will give you the 4.5 meters. So the building, or the height of the building up to the top of the ladder is 4.5 meters. So finish the Edulastic assignment. You'll see the last question has an A and a B, so it's labeled 11 and 12. Do that, and that will count. And tomorrow, you will have a quiz on similarity up through this unit. Have a great day. Take care.